You by Even Keel Fish Shack.
Hold the Mayo. It's time for Mike Mayo's Lunchbox. Find out what's being served with Mike, Defo and Lubie, the only show that covers food, sports, and the proper maintenance of your car. And now, a man who had the distinction of having an entire health clinic named in his honor, Mike Mayo.
I want the flim flam sauce with the awesome fave with shafafa on the side.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to another edition of the Lunchbox, home edition today. Scrambling at the end. I just got on a little bit late because of the weekly Best of Del Rey app Zoom meeting. It's always fun. And then I come on here to see that Defo is getting evicted from his home studio, or I don't know, his Wi-Fi was going to be cut. I really have to tell him to stop gambling and start paying his utility bills because it's just not good when you lose the Wi-Fi right before the show. No, that's not what happened. What happened, Lubie?
Smarter. I guess he lives in one of these complexes that gives you cable, but he didn't trust it, so he was paying for his own cable. But, you know, after your 1 to 2 years, they always jack it up to some exorbitant amount. So he's, I guess, trusting their cable and with an internet booster. So they're just inserting the free/boosted cable. I have no idea what I don't know.
I don't understand anything you just said. All I know is that with 30 seconds to airtime, he was like, I gotta go. Hopefully I'll see you soon. And which really disappoints me because
Why?
I had a whole bunch of stuff teed up to just kind of wail on Defo because well, first of all, he was talking about on the morning show today about he was denigrating Kasha Kanish's, and I'm a big fan of Kasha. And just because he doesn't like Kasha doesn't mean the whole world doesn't like Kasha. My father, rest in peace, was a huge Kasha Kanish fan. I happen to like it. And if they don't have the potato Kanish, I'll eat the Kasha Kanish. And I will probably eat a Kasha Kanish again, just out of spite, in front of Defoe's face tomorrow when we go to do our monthly remote show at Grandpa's Bagel Cafe and Deli in Dania Beach, conveniently located right around the corner from my house, and not so conveniently located a good 20-minute drive from Defoe's abode. But we'll get him out there tomorrow, and I guess I could rag on him tomorrow. He might show up later today. I also wanted to talk Derby draw with him.
Can you see him?
Is he there?
He's on the screen.
He's on the screen. Okay, and that's good. Did I got to see if I got. Oh, here we go. Here we go. All right, I'm like.
I know you
Potchking around with all the different
like what is
streams. I'm getting. Oh, here he's back. Okay, so
like, oh, fuck, tell me you can see him. I'm part of my friend.
No, I was on the other. I'm posting on the Mike Mayo's Lunchbox page. I'm posting on the Let's Eat South Florida page. I got to get the right link these days because otherwise Facebook will instead show you videos of like some dog doing tricks off a trampoline or dunking a basketball. Or something like that.
Maybe more interesting.
Probably it'll be more interesting. How is everybody today? Defo, I was just ragging on you for your hatred of Kasha and also not paying your utility bills. But it looks like you did pay the utility bill. It was just a matter of
no, this change of television service and internet service. Saving what was a gigantic bill that Infinity came up with, or Xfinity. They came up with $270 a month for what would cost me $120 if I went through the service that was available to me through the homeowners association. So same service, $150 less. I think it made sense to make the change. It just happened that they were doing it right this second, but we're changed now, so we're good.
Good. It's all good. And, for every dollar saved on utilities, it's one more dollar that goes into the either slot machines or the parimutuel pools at your local parimutuel facility. So that's good news for.
Well, it's kind of dumb to pay $150 more a month for the same service. I mean, it makes no
absolutely.
sense.
I wasn't ridiculing you for doing it. I'm just saying it's great. It's smart. It's
good job.
Yes. So good job. I got a lot on the plate today. First of all, I'm going to. I guess once we're talking about utilities and people, tacking on charges, not like, FPL is one of those regulated utilities. I have on the side of my house a propane gas tank that used to heat my pool. I say used to because my pool heater has been shot forever. So I just have this big propane tank that I rent from AmeriGas. And when you have a propane tank on the side of your house, some people use it for home cooking or other things, but um, it's not a regulated utility. Anyway, this big 120-gallon propane tank that's on the side of my house, I didn't even realize it until a week after the floods that we had, when I went around and finally the waters all subsided from the side of my house, the lake that leads to the backyard and the shed. That I went around there, and this tank had been dislodged from it was on these it was raised up a little bit on these kind of concrete slabs, but the thing had been picked up by the water and toppled over on its side. Thankfully, it didn't snap the gas line, and there wasn't like propane spilling out, and somebody would light light a cigarette, because then there would be no more Casa de Mayo, and I would have been. And again, my office is like right next to this tank. But when I saw that it was tipped over like 6 days after the flood, I immediately called AmeriGas, and I said, I don't know what we're supposed to do. I don't smell any gas. It seems like the gas line that runs underground to the pool heater was intact. It hadn't been severed. I said, what do I do? They said, we'll send a technician out right away. This technician comes out by himself, and he couldn't even lift the thing by himself, but somehow he managed to put it back upright, but it's not mounted or secured in any way. And he checked, there was no leak, it didn't rupture, but he disengaged and basically unhooked the gas line from the tank, did a check for any leaks to make sure there was no safety issues. There was not. So now, and they said, he would come back and they would figure out a way to properly put it back. And again, this is a tank I rent. I don't own it. It's on my property, but I have.
What were you using it for? I mean, I may be mad at myself for asking that question, but what would you use? Why did you still have this thing if it wasn't for your pool? What were you doing?
Well, no, it still hypothetically is for my pool heater, but my pool heater hasn't worked in ages. So it's just basically sitting
every month for this thing. Like, this is one of those.
No, it's an annual fee of like $99 a year to have this tank. And I just always said, well, I might get a new pool heater. I might not.
I went to my wife with her 4 gym memberships, and she has used 2 of them in like 2 years.
Anyway,
I may go back.
the guy they never came back again to properly mount this or hook it up again or do whatever they said they were going to do. But in my mailbox yesterday, I got a piece of correspondence from AmeriGas, and lo and behold, it was a bill for $329. And it said $99 for a technician service call and $220 for a gas leak check. And I'm like saying, holy moly, like, this is your tank and you're charging me after an act of God of flooding.
That's true.
I was like, I'm about to call him up and yell at him. Even though I might be sitting on a big payday from insurance, and I don't know if insurance will cover part of this, if I put it onto my claim or not. Or if I just should apply to the feds, since now they're now making it rain money for all these flood victims that didn't have insurance. But I don't know. Once I do have insurance, I don't want to jeopardize that. It's a very confusing time, Defo. But my bottom line is, should I be paying $320 but basically rectify an emergency situation for something that belongs to them? And if they give me grief on this, I'm going to say, you know what? Why don't you just come and take this big 120-gallon tank and stick it up? Well, just stick it on your truck and get it off my property. I don't want it anymore, because I was looking into getting maybe a new pool heater, the one that actually works, and hook up this new gas, line that they're going to come and run out and put it up. But they'll probably charge me another $2,000 to do that. I don't know. What should I do? I should start a new Facebook group. Let's fetch about utilities and service companies.
I'll get rid of the goddamn thing. I don't understand why you have it. I'm still confused. You lost me like 5 minutes ago. Like,
well, because
for a thing that you don't use and you're never going to use, you're not going to use
I might use it again. Well, that's the thing. I kind of tend to suffer from inertia. I don't know. I guess they have that show Hoarders, and if you, yeah, I guess I should let go. I should let go of the tank, and I should just
that's what I'll give Defo credit. He moves every 2 years, every 4 years. He doesn't give a shit. He doesn't. I'm sorry, pardon my French again. He doesn't get tied to places. Like, I don't know. That's one thing. Equipment. Like, if it's not working, go. Get out of my way. You're just bogging down my grass. Like, I don't need that. And all you're doing, and they always get you. You're gonna pay for it eventually, and you don't even use it. You're not going to eat the pool. For what?
I didn't mind paying the $100 rental a year for something I didn't use, because it was just something, okay, I have, and that's that. But now, like, an act of God comes along, and it's their equipment, and they're charging me $300 and change to basically, alert them and tell them that their equipment is in a precarious state and could be a health hazard, that my lawyers would be, we're always looking for our next lawsuit at Casa de Mayo. So, what do you think, Defo? Am I being a ridiculous person?
Unfortunately, these things usually come back to haunt you like years later when all of a sudden a judgment is issued from some court in Illinois that you owe them for the equipment that you actually returned. That happened to me with a cable company in the past.
Isn't that the worst?
Yeah,
Bust your ass.
where I gave the equipment to a guy who came to my house after one of the hurricanes many years ago. And then for years after, I was being pursued by various legal departments from this cable company, including debt collectors and whatever else, collection agencies, and they constantly were insisting that they were going to ruin my credit if I didn't cough over like $1,500 for this equipment that I gave them back. But I didn't have a receipt for it because I just gave it to the guy at the door, and he rolled off in a company truck, and that was that. But I never did pay it. But they will haunt you later on, and you never know. I mean, somebody gets a judgment against you, and all of a sudden they're garnishing your wages over something that you had nothing to do with.
Well, yeah, you're right. These big companies somehow they always find a way to mess things up. I guess. I'm going to get this tank off my property, and I'm just going to submit it as part of the whole write-off of the flood damage and things that either we'll see what happens. All right, let's get into the food and the sports. There's a lot of that. First of all, see what I got here, Defo. First of all, I'm not going to be eating 31 cheeseburgers.
Sarni suggested it. We didn't want to pass that along to you because we were afraid we might lose you.
You really are trying to kill me. I mean, and I do have some, concerns at this point in my life. I'm supposed to go for my blood work, and every morning when I could be driving to the lab for, getting the blood draw, I was like, yeah, you know what? Today's not the day. I got to keep waiting. I'm afraid what those cholesterol and blood sugar numbers are going to show. But I had a kind of a night of drinking and eating orgy last night. Like, Manishtana, why is that night different than any other night? Exactly. But it started off with Dixie, and we had a really fun crew associated with the Best of Del Rey. And we were actually in Boca Raton because sometimes we wander into neighboring towns. And I went to a place that I hadn't been in like 30 plus years because I used to go there. I went there with my late aunt and uncle who used to live in East Boca. But it's an old school Italian place that's been around 40 years, and it's called Arturo's on North Federal Highway. Have you ever been there or heard of it, Jeff Defo?
I don't know that I don't think I've been there. I probably, where is it on Federal Highway?
North Federal, like 5600 block North Federal.
Probably passed by there, but I don't
above
think I've ever
Yamato.
stopped in. Yeah.
Yeah, it's got like a standalone building with ornate columns, and you drive up, and it's valet parking only, but it's free valet. So, you just got to dip in for the $5 bill and all that. But it reminds me a lot of like kind of a combination of Tropical Acres / Anthony's Runway 84 before Runway 84 remodeled this year. And it's run by this family, the Grismaldis, that used to have an Italian restaurant up in Long Island. And then the family came down here, and they opened this place in 1982. And it's been there. And I tell you what, first of all, I drank like I was a frat boy because I started off in the bar area, and I had a martini. And then I sprang for a nice bottle of wine because Dixie actually foot the bill for dinner. And it was a group of 4 of us. And I got a bottle of Brunello. And the owner, Vincenzo steered me towards, I said, I was going to get this one from a 2017. He says, no, this one's better. It was a 2015. And really silky smooth, and they properly decanted it. And then we were having after dinner drinks. There's something called Liquor 42. I don't know, something from Portugal. You put it in an espresso. That tasted good. And after this whole eating orgy, and it was a good meal, they do a lot of tableside service at Arturo's that like they prepare a tableside Caesar salad, again, with the proper, where they mash it up with the anchovies and the raw egg yolk and all the cheese, and very good Caesar salad table side. They also did Dickstein got this penne a la, it was like not vodka, but cognac, where they were flambeing it with cognac table side and stirring it up. And that was a very tasty dish. It had a good little kick to it with cognac. And then we had let's see. Oh, they had a special. It was a lamb ossobuco. It was like a lamb shank with their house made tagliatelle pasta. And then and we were there for a nice long time. So I kind of was a little bit by the time that the dinner was over, I was okay to drive, but I didn't drive all the way home. I ended up going to the Anchors Away dive bar in Deerfield Beach, and we saw our friend
after eating.
Yeah. So Tom, our friend Tom T, I don't know if he's on the horn today, but
He was the first person to chat. I think he's.
And he was like, "Oh, can I let me get you something to eat?" It's like, I just ate a full meal. I can't eat. They had great, little TV right in front of me with the Rangers game, and that drove me to drink some more. I had a Budweiser in honor of Defo, and next thing I know, the bartender there is giving out some Jello shots or something like that.
Oh my God! Kind of Jello shots.
Actually, it wasn't even Jello. It was more like pudding. It was like some sort of like chocolate mousse mixed with vodka, and I had that, and it was good. It was actually tasted like a good little dessert, which would have been my third dessert of the evening after the bananas Foster and ricotta cheesecake at Arturo's. I think I need an intervention on multiple levels, Defo, and we got Green Eyed Girl saying it's time to send me to AA. This is what happens when I give up alcohol.
Exactly.
I just overcompensate. But the good news is, Defo, there was a ambulance and paramedics that pulled up to Anchors Away as I was leaving, and I was like, I hope it's not for me.
I don't know.
It was weird because it's a kind of a small bar, and I didn't see anything happen. But apparently, on the other side of the bar, unbeknownst to me, somebody fell off their chair and split their head wide open. And apparently it was a very nasty scene. But the gurney was coming in as I was making my way out, and Tom was going out for a smoke break. And somebody said, "Oh yeah, somebody fell off the chair." It seems like something that maybe happens every other week. And that is the sign of a good dive bar, when either there is broken glass or paramedics coming in with gurneys. And I don't want to dissuade anybody from going, because Tom T, he's killing it with his food, and he's going to be spending more time there. He likes the setup. It's a good kitchen setup for him.
Yeah.
He's going to be there now during the week more than some of his other spots in Boynton Beach. And now I'm getting to the crux of the matter, Defo. He hooked me up, and he sent me home with a doggy bag because I couldn't eat anything last night. But he gave me some shrimp and grits. He gave me this big turkey, like Thanksgiving po' boy that he calls it, with the turkey and the stuffing and the cranberry sauce and a little gravy on the side. I've got all that in my fridge. But the best thing he gave me, one of his items that I had never had before, and I think I've almost tried everything. He makes chili. This is a chili.
Oh, interesting.
Defo. This is the best chili I've ever tasted. And I'm including Skyline chili in that. And I know.
Well, we would say, what would you know about chili, since your favorite is Skyline, which isn't chili?
Here's what
not exactly qualified. I mean, as much of an expert as you are on the local dining scene, your chili opinion has been disregarded.
Let me tell you something, okay? I hope to get my chili cred back with you.
Oh my God!
It's a thick, rich chili that
as
has
it should
beans,
be. Yes, yes.
Has beans. But do you see the type of meat he uses?
It's like big chunks. Is that brisket, or is that?
It looks like chunks of brisket. And Tom T, if you're out there, please let me know. I'm guessing it's brisket or some sort of chuck, but it's like cubed little tender pieces of beef in this rich tomatoey sauce that has a little kick. I could add some more hot sauce if I wanted, but right now, and again, it has the beans and it has those cubes of beef and the flavor. Sirloin, he said. Wow. Hey, Scott M. Dude, this is not dog food. This is high quality.
You're putting sirloin into chili.
Yeah, it's so tender and so good. My man, Tom T, you rock the house with that chili. That's the best chili I've ever eaten. Thank you. So, there we go. On the Lunchbox. I'll talk some sports. It's a big night tonight.
Sure.
What are we thinking?
Defo more positive than me. I mean, go to Defo. I'm the Debbie Downer. Defoe's been high and full of positivity with our South Florida teams.
I'm thinking the Heat find a way to win this game because the Knicks fans have been euphoric about their season. Jimmy Butler plays. He's fine. He was working out. We mentioned this morning. We saw him with the Rockettes doing some kicks. So rumors of his demise, I think, are greatly exaggerated. And the Panthers go into Toronto and stun the Maple Leaf fans there and continue their misery as they haven't won a title since like 1950 something. So why not continue the local Cinderella stories? 2 wins tonight by the local teams.
I just got off the phone with Pat Utter at Shenanigans, and he's giddy. He's a genuine local sports fan. So beyond being a sports bar gastropub owner that stands to benefit every time a home team advances and wins in the playoffs, he's also just happy. I'm going to go in there tonight, watch the games. I would invite you down, but I know that you can't. It's too far for you to drive. But
It's a hike.
I might have 1 or 2 burgers to jumpstart Burger Month, but I'm not going to have one every day.
Why don't you do? Sonny brought up a good suggestion, and I don't totally agree because to see you eat salad every day would be boring.
No,
But if it's National Salad Month and National Burger Month, why can't we combine the two worlds? Burger one day, salad one day. Burger one day, salad one day. So
Or
3 salads and 2 burgers. 3
or
salads.
yeah, you can do what the keto people do, which is eat their burgers with a lettuce leaf
has to go
instead of a bun, which I hate. That just kind of goes against all the grains of everything. But I guess, if you are trying to avoid the carbs, that could work. Have you ever eaten one of those bunless burgers where you wrap it with like the big leaves of either romaine or
I'm sure I have at
lettuce?
some point in time. No, a burger should be eaten on a bun. Unless, you're just dodging bread altogether, which people do from time to time, or maybe even in general. So at that point, the lettuce is okay. A fork is okay at that stage, right? Or just pick the thing up and dip it in ketchup and have it that way.
Yep. Yeah, there's many ways to eat a burger. And look, Tom T is saying he wanted to know about the shrimp and grits because I guess he has this Chef Elephantine memory that he said we blasted it last time. I don't recall blasting anything.
I've never had his shrimp and grits.
Oh, okay. No, I mean, I didn't eat it again yet. I know that he puts what does he put, like tasso ham or some sort of sausage on the top with the shrimp and grits. I just know that he uses like the real Southern kind of really kind of small, mushy grits as opposed like the stuff that you find at I think it's like Waffle House kind, as opposed to like some of the that Bob's Red Mill grits. And excuse me if I'm talking out of turn, Tom T. But I think you use that smaller kind. Smaller kind. I like kind of the one that's kind of a little bit bigger and has a little bit better mouthfeel than the other one that has more of a kind of I don't want to use the word gruel, but I just did. But Tom T is so talented. Okay, it's okay if we don't love every dish, and I'll try it again. I got to try it again. We'll see. But the sandwich was great. I did take a bite of the sandwich when I got home last night. I couldn't resist that. And this chili is the best ever. And again, I urge everybody to go out and check out Tom's Louisiana Kitchen. When are you going to be there again at Anchors Away, Tommy? Is it tonight or is it going to be there? I don't even know. I'm just digging a hole for myself. Tommy is never going to give me any other chili again in my life.
I've never had the shrimp and grits, but I'm sure it's great. But yeah, it's funny.
I don't recall who blasted it. Did I blast it?
He said he'll be there Friday. What's interesting is it's the term dive bar. It is a smaller place, but the location's cool. Like it's a nice area, and it seems like it's an up and coming area. So to me, the actual location like surely makes a face whenever we see these mom and pops sometimes, which is my favorite though. It's where is it? If it's in an area that you feel unsafe, that's a different story. But the actual location,
2nd Street, it's right around the corner from Pickle Barrel. If people know Pickle Barrel and it's on Hillsborough, you basically go up one of those side streets just a block north, and it's right around the corner from Deerfield Beach City Hall too. It's a place I used to spend a lot of time when I was a news columnist because there was always wacky stuff going on there. But this place is good. It's one of those places that they call it a dive bar, but it's very comfortable in there. And they're very friendly. They've got a pool table. They've got, I think they have the bar shuffleboard too. And, good place to take in a game too, especially if Tom's going to be cooking there on Friday night. I don't know which games are going on. I guess, like you said, the Heat after tonight, they're off until Memorial Day, so
Yeah.
until Saturday before the Derby. Um, so the Heat and Panthers both play tonight. I say it's one of those nights where, like, you never say, "Oh, you relax as a fan," but it's like it's really not a that crucial of a night. It's not a do or die night. Okay, Heat's playing with house money. This is a house money game, and I know that you were saying this morning that you don't like that. You seem to think Eric Spoelstra, the Heat coach, kind of tends to give away these games and not.
In the past, he's been sort of laissez-faire about game twos.
Yeah, and I guess you could say, well, if this is a real, go for the jugular team, why not go up 2-0 and win both games on the road to start a series? Um, and then the other people say, hey, Jimmy Butler has the rolled ankle, maybe give him the night off, and then maybe that sets a tone where maybe they're a little bit not as desperate and hungry and don't try to win as hard. But you got your split on the road, which is what a lot of teams just want, and I don't maybe think it's not the worst thing because then it keeps you on edge when you get back home, as opposed to remember what happened to the New York Rangers in the last round. They went up 2-0 after winning the first two games of the series on the road. And look what happened to them last night. All of a sudden, they couldn't score, they couldn't stop a goal, and they just totally. It was a very disheartening performance as a lifelong Rangers fan. Basically, me, you, and Defo Lubie, we could have shown up on the ice in wherever they play those games. Is it still the Meadowlands? Do they still have an arena at the Meadowlands, or did they build someplace in downtown Newark? I think now. This is how long ago it was since I've been to a Devils game. But me and you, we could have been the number one line for the Rangers last night and scored just as many goals as the New York Rangers did in their horrible performance, which I am now going to forget. And the Panthers, hey, again, they started a fresh series in Toronto. Again, nobody expected them to necessarily win that last series. So here they are now playing with house money. But as a sports writer, I would always root for the best story. And you got to admit, nationally or internationally, because we're talking about across the Canadian border, isn't the Toronto Maple Leafs winning it all this year the best possible story for the NHL? Defo, or do you subscribe to that it's about time that a storied Original Six franchise should win it all?
Why not one of the other ones then? What about the Bruins?
They're gone.
They've been down in the dumps forever. Haven't won a championship. They have scarcely even sniffed any kind of long run in the playoffs. No, but I feel no sympathy for the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Really?
Yeah, that's a terrible theory, Mike Mayo. I mean,
I
you
want
got the
Neil
Panthers
Rogers
in
up
there.
in heaven with Norm Kent to be, Neil will be cheering.
Well, he'd
on
be a
the
Panther
Leafs.
fan also. I mean, I would imagine he'd be conflicted about this. But
Yeah.
and the Panthers have never won a championship either. Think about that, ever. So, maybe this is their year after all those great expectations were dashed last year in the second round.
But just when I was ready to embrace him, and I said I was on the bandwagon, then I was off.
Well,
Now
you
I'm
jump
back
off
on.
in the middle of games.
But I did say at the beginning of the playoff run that I like this team and I think they were going to do some damage. But now, here we go again. My man, I don't know if it's Doug Sifu or Vinny Viola. Is this story true about them not letting, like, you need a U.S. passport in order to be able to purchase a ticket? Because that's a class action lawsuit waiting to happen. And way to go to alienate your whole entire maybe South Florida base where you have people who hold green cards but not full citizenship from places like Venezuela and Honduras and Colombia, all the South and Latin American countries that, again, that whole western corridor of Broward that is now just filled with South and Central Americans. You're saying you don't want them to be able to purchase a playoff ticket. Can you explain this to me, Defo? I don't understand what just happened.
It sounded illegal, actually, but I guess they can do whatever they want. You have to be a U.S. citizen to buy a ticket through the team and their box office or whatever ticket service they use. Otherwise, you're immediately declined the tickets
How
if
did
you
they
don't have
check?
U.S. citizenship. I guess they can check by your payment method,
This
their
is
credit
ridiculous.
card. I'm not sure.
This
but,
can't be true. It's an internet hoax, right?
no, it was on CBS Sportsline. They are not going to sell tickets through the team to anybody that's a Canadian citizen that doesn't have U.S. citizenship, which obviously is going to keep none of these people away from the game because, the other half of that story is while the Panthers had the 7th worst attendance in the National Hockey League during the regular season, which is like 25th place. The Toronto Maple Leafs, I would imagine it's impossible to get into a game. So if a guy has to pay premium prices to come down here for a playoff game and pay the airfare and hotel, he's still better off than he would be trying to buy 2 tickets to a Toronto Maple Leafs game at home. So they're not going to keep any of the Toronto Maple Leaf fans out of here because most people are buying their tickets on the secondary or whatever it is market anyway. So, like you were the other night when you were looking up, okay, how can I get tickets? You didn't go through the box office of the team. You
No,
went
it's
right
on
to
StubHub. Yeah.
some site, yeah. So that's where people are buying their tickets for the most part. I don't know what that accomplishes except to embarrass the team further.
Well, it sounds like now people will understand the nature of my beef with Doug Sifu, because you can't spell Sifu without FU, and that's all effed up.
But
Like,
wait,
that
well,
kind of
how would the
policy.
league allow this policy to become public and not immediately say, "Hey, well, that's not the way that we operate here. We're not going to
If
decline."
this is a
Well,
true
what if you were
thing,
from Thailand and you happen to be a
Yes, that's the
giant
thing.
Panther fan and you wanted to buy tickets for the game?
I mean, I still think you could, buy property in Florida as a non-citizen. I mean, that's allowed. You can't
You
vote.
can do pretty much anything here. I mean,
Yeah, you can do anything except vote. You're not allowed to vote if you're not a citizen in the United States. That hasn't stopped some people before, but
I
the
guess they don't want people at the game that aren't voting. But no, it seemed like a ridiculous. I mean, it's not going to stop anything. We know this is a syndrome in South Florida sports where the opposing team usually, if they're in, town from certain areas like New York or maybe Boston, Chicago, that they will have more fans in the arena than the local team does. But for a team that struggled at the gate, to make a policy like that and just openly say we don't want any Canadian citizens coming into our arena for the playoffs is
yeah,
absurd.
I'm reading this now. It's on a site called Daily Faceoff. I assume this is like a hockey niche website, and
Yeah.
I imagine that. Here we go. Yeah, TSN 1200, the big Toronto radio station, is saying Florida Panthers trying to keep Leafs fans out of Sunrise. Uh, Sales, yeah, and they put up the banner from the Panthers website that Florida Live Arena is located in Sunrise, Florida. Sales to this event will be restricted to residents of the United States. Residency will be based on credit card billing address. Okay, so we did get it a little wrong. It's not citizenship. It's you need to have a credit card billing address only in the United States. So you need to have residency.
It's nuts. Yeah, it's even worse.
Is it?
Who buys
Yeah.
it's Ticketmaster? Like out after the Taylor Swift nonsense, like wouldn't you go to a StubHub or a Vivid Seat? There's like a million of these ticket broker sites. Like who goes directly to the team anyways?
It's craziness. I guess they just want to generate some headlines, and I guess Doug Sifu and gang subscribe to the theory that any publicity is good publicity, even if you end up looking like complete and utter jackasses. But okay, who am I to argue? Now I might have to go off Forte in the Derby too, because this is kind of just nonsense. But Forte, of course, your Kentucky Derby favorite, and the post position draws we yesterday, owned by Panthers owner Vinny Viola, along with I think Mike Rapoli also has a share of Forte. We'll talk about that in a minute. I do have some notes. Oh man, I'm all over the place as usual, but I did eat and drink a lot yesterday, and that's the important thing, Defo. And if you want to eat and drink a lot tonight, responsibly, of course, Tuesday is at one of my favorite places, Tropical Acres Steakhouse. It is half price wine night. And every weeknight is half price drink night in the bar during happy hour, which goes from 4:30 to 6:30 p.m. I think the three of us, we need to get back there pretty soon because it's
I would
too
think
long.
sometime around Mother's Day. Sounds like
We
a perfect time.
usually do an outing. Usually when I lose some sort of sporting bet to you guys. But it's again, even if you lose a bet, you'll feel like a winner when you end up going out to Tropical Acres, especially when you get the tab at the end of the night, because it's pretty light on the damage on the wallet because they have such great value besides having the great steaks and good quality and all the different things. Half price wine night. I mean, you can get one of these nice bottles at half price. Ends up being less than what you would pay at some of the more value conscious liquor stores around town. So you can't beat the deals there. And it's going to be Mother's Day pretty soon. You want to make those Mother's Day reservations now. They're going to be open that Sunday from 1 to 8 p.m. And you could get in the book by calling 954-989-2500, 954-989-2500. And right after Mother's Day, then it's the most wonderful time of year at Tropical Acres, which is the return of the Twin Lobster Special. And that's always I know it's a favorite in my household, because then you can do the old surf and turf. You get one of those great filet mignons or maybe a piece of prime rib, and you split that with your neighbor or table mate, and you get a lobster, one of the two lobsters straight from Maine. They boil it fresh, and you get the side dish and the salad included. That's all part of what makes Tropical Acres so great. Since 1949, they are the home of hospitality. Go there, tell them the Lunchbox sent you.
As my friend a Polyman would say, first class joint, Tropical Acres. It really is, man. They exude class, as evidenced just by any contact you have with Jack Studiali. He's one of those guys I hear Trevor Devin in my head saying, here's Jack exuding class as they come down the stretch. Great job by these guys for over 70 years. Tropical Acres. More to come on Mike Mayo's Lunchbox in a moment.
Beach Cafe. It's a South Florida landmark, and it's one happy restaurant right on the water. Tables literally on the beach. A place where you could dip your toes in the sand, kick back, relax with island vibes, tropical drinks, and live music daily. You know it. It's at One Commercial Boulevard in Lauderdale by the Sea. And of course, it has Chef Chris Nealon and his famed Caribbean Floridian cuisine. The huge menu with something for everyone. Seafood, raw bar, conch fritters, burgers, sandwiches, salads, daily specials, and of course, that famous Bimini bread. They've got a great staff that'll take great care of you. There's something to celebrate every day. Open 7 days until late. Parking available on site. Happy hour weekdays 4 to 7 p.m. Go check out more at ArubaBeachCafe.com. Better yet, go in there yourself at Aruba Beach Cafe. Good food, drinks, friends, and laughter are always the catch of the day. When people come to me and say, Mike, where should I go out to eat? I got guests coming from out of town. Where should we go? Cafe Seville. That's the answer. 2768 East Oakland Park Boulevard. It's a Fort Lauderdale perennial, serving the finest in Spanish and continental cuisine in a cozy, friendly, comfortable setting. Joey Esposito and Sally, his better half, they've been running the place for a long time. It's been open since the 1980s. They got great Spanish classics like paella, shrimp with garlic sauce, and all kinds of great seafood dishes. The stuffed veal chop, that's my favorite. Go to Cafe Seville. It's open every day but Sunday at 5 p.m. for dinner. Tell them that the Lunchbox Mayo and Defo sent you. Do you like burgers? Do you like wings? Do you like late night food and sports on big screen TVs and cold beer and friendly vibe and great people? Then you want to check out Shenanigans, 1300 South Federal Highway in Dania Beach. Go to Shenanigans, you get yourself all the good stuff, the fresh fish every day, the blackened grilled wings, and of course, the kitchens are open late. Go there, tell them that the Lunchbox Mayo and Defo sent you. Mayo here for Delaware Chicken Farm and Seafood Market. Since 1951, family owned for over 70 years, the home of freshness. I've been a customer for over 3 decades, and it's the place to go for poultry, steaks, meats, and of course, their unbelievable selection of fish and seafood. They've got it all. Key West pink shrimp, grouper, snapper, lobster, and of course, Florida stone crab claws of all sizes. Don't forget their famous fish dip and a full selection of prepared foods. It's located at 4191 North State Road 7 in Hollywood, just across from the Seminole Classic Casino. Owner Doug Carter and crew will take great care of you. Make sure to check out their weekly specials and daily catch online at DelawareChicken.com. Quality, value, freshness, that's the Delaware way. Tell them Mike Mayo and the Lunchbox sent you. Do you like pizza? Who doesn't like pizza? Well, my spot for pizza is the Pizza Spot. It's in that little bit hard to find Riverside Park neighborhood of Fort Lauderdale, but it's totally easy to love. It's at 601 Southwest 12th Avenue, New Haven style, a pizza from Wade and Reese. It's a lovely outdoor spot. You could also pick up pies to go at 754-779-7788, 754-779-7788. Again, they're open every day but Monday for lunch and dinner. Some of the best pizza I've ever had. Go to Pizza Spot. They also have subs, salads, and more. Tell them the Gambling Gourmet sent you. If you like seafood in a comfortable setting, outdoors, even keel fish shack at the corner of A1A and Commercial Boulevard in Lauderdale by the Sea, that's my spot. It's upscale food in a down-home setting. The chef owners, Dave and Brad, do a terrific job with all the seafood classics that you want. They have the best grilled oysters in town, bang bang shrimp, lobster rolls, and deli fish specials. They also have weekend brunch Saturday and Sunday. They have deli happy hour 4 to 7, and they also have other weekly specials like mussels on Monday and oysters on Tuesday. Go to Even Keel Fish Shack and tell them that the Lunchbox sent you. Back on the Lunchbox, we are here. I'm enjoying some of the goodies that Tom T from Tom's Louisiana Kitchen gave me. And here is the Thanksgiving sandwich. It looks like dark meat turkey with some stuffing and cranberry sauce on a beautiful kind of French bread. And he also gave me the accoutrement, which is the gravy, which I didn't reheat. It's in that gelatinous form. And I'm just going to take a little dunk here and take that there and do one of my Mike Mayo bites here. Let's see. Again, it's not a hamburger. I'm not doing 31 hamburgers.
Cold? You're eating cold gravy?
Yeah, of course. And I'm going to spread it with my finger around that. And if people don't like it, I would urge you to look away right now because this is rated R. It's not for the squeamish. This could be a little bit of a horror film kind of thing. And we'll get into some derby talk. Here we go.
Oh, my God.
Cool.
I was trying to explain. I was out with my uncles last night, and my cousin.
Oh, that's cool. And it's really good cold, by the way. Good.
And Shirley was there, and Shirley knows the higher class you. And I was trying to explain you to them because they knew you from your writing days. You actually
as
worked
a respectable human being.
you worked with my aunt years ago, I guess.
Oh wow. Okay.
And they knew you as that guy. And I'm like, yeah, it's really weird because like we're going to these restaurants and all these owners and they're really respectable chefs, good entrepreneurs will have this reverence for him. And then I'll watch him eat and I doesn't compute. I'm like, I don't understand this honor they have for him. He can still eat like that. Like it's just a weird combination that I can't fathom.
This is one of those sandwiches that when it gets like congealed and cold, it actually tastes much better than it did when I got home last night. Probably because last night I was already stuffed to the gills. But can anybody understand me now, by the way? Because I got so much food, I'm like a chipmunk. And Defo is just sitting there. You feel free.
Hey, you sound good. You sound great.
Don't make me choke.
Yeah, please
That
don't.
would be bad for the show.
Oh, Lord.
I do have others in the room now, so if I need the Heimlich maneuver, it will be available. Fantastic job. Thank you, Tom T. I will demolish the rest of this after the show. I'm going to put it off to the side now. One more thing I wanted to clear up. Remember yesterday we had the contest winner, Alexa Habe,
Yes.
and congratulations to Alexa. But, I kind of threw in a little bit of shade because I didn't quite understand what was going on with the Habe family. It's kind of like the whole Ginn family with the Dolphins. Of course, Cam Cameron wanted to draft the entire Ginn family, and it seems like every time we run a contest, the entire Habe family was submitting entries maybe over and over again. She did send an email to explain what happened, and she is a legit winner. She is going to be the winner this week, but I kind of disqualified every week. I don't know if it's her husband or a brother, but somebody else submits multiple entries. Anyway, she sent an explanation, and she was basically said, "Thank you for notifying me. I was watching your Lunchbox show and wanted to clear up the confusion. I've been entering the raffle since it first started early in December. I initially read the rules back then, and when it was first posted, it did not see any mention of one entry per person." And she's true. She's right. There was no disclaimer about one entry per person. She goes, "However, after watching your show yesterday, I went back to the post from December about the rules and saw it was modified around January 14th. Also true about only submitting one entry per person. I would remind my friends and family every Saturday, submit their entries. That's why you see multiple family members, friends entering around the same time. Honestly, I did not see the one entry per person in December when I read the rules, but I see the revised post now. Feel free to disqualify or give away the brunch to another winner if necessary." I was like, no. The first one that landed in the bin from her was valid. And again, She was right. There was a loophole early on, and leave it to the fine folks who we're horse players and we read the rules, and it's right. I didn't notice until there were several people, and not just that family, but several people started entering multiple times, figuring, hey, why not just submit 4 or 5 different picks if it doesn't say so in the rules? That's why a little bit less, like a month into it, I did revise the rules. She is eligible, but thank you for clarifying that, because again, I didn't mean to cast any aspersions, and we've got that all cleared up. And the way it works is those weekly contests, which we're going to be keeping going at Gulfstream throughout through the Triple Crown season and beyond that. Might not be every week, but we're going to keep it going. And so it's good to know a couple of things. One, if you're a winner, you cannot win again for another, what do we say, 60 or 90 days? I put it in the rules. I think
it was 3 months because you didn't want it to just keep.
Yeah. So we've got, I think it was a 90-day window, a 3-month window. But check the rules again at Mike Mayo's Lunchbox page on Facebook. And again, only one entry per person per week. So again, it just kind of keeps it fair. We want to give everybody a chance, and it seems like everybody's enjoying that. So that is the issue of the contest. Now we get down to the nitty gritty of, again, picking horses this week. Derby has been drawn, a full field of 20 as usual. And the horse that Defo has been giving out and touting, which is, I guess, really his friend Paulie Mann's, verifying, drew the number 2 post, which has had, I think, just one winner in the last 60 years.
Yes.
And that being affirmed in 78 or 77? Yeah. And then he also loves Angel of Empire, the number 14. And I looked it up, and it looks like the number 14 post position has not been doing too well recently. I think the only winner in the last 70 years was like Carryback in 1961. And I don't think there's really been any others coming from that 14 hole. Now, you've been loving to bash Forte, Defo, and Forte, the number 15 hole, has won, I think, 3 times in the last 10 years.
Oh, geez. So
it's won, 3 times in the last 10 years, the 15 hole. So one more reason to bolster the hopes and dreams of the Vinny Violas of the world and the Florida Derby winner, Forte. And then the horse that you love to not like, Tapit Trice, is in the 5 hole. And the 5 hole also has had a lot of success recently in the Derby. It's one of the most winning post positions in terms of percentage. So Tapit Trice is, again, another one from the barn of Todd Pletcher. Leave out Pletcher, leave on a stretcher. And he also has the number 6. The number 6 hole has not had as much success. Only one winner since 1958 from post position 6. Sea Hero in 1993. And I think I had that one. Jerry Bailey was aboard. So that's how old I am. I now remember my winning tickets from 30 years ago. Defo, your thoughts on the draw? Do you have a horse yet? Are you sticking with the ones that Paulie Mann likes, despite the discouraging news about the post positions?
Well, all things must pass. So, eventually somebody's going to win again from the 2 hole if you live long enough to see it. I'm hoping it's this year with this verifying who the Paulie Mann likes, 35-1 the morning line. I mean, that's my kind of action on the Derby.
I got him at 15. Just to point it out, the morning line odds that I'm looking at has verifying at 15-1, 15, not 35.
Okay, might have been a misprint in my post today, but still a long shot. Tapit Trice and Forte, contrary to the words you're trying to ascribe to me, I think both of those horses are good. It just I'm going to be rooting against them winning the race because it won't make for much of a price if both of them are in the money. But I think you would have to include them in exotic wagering, which I'm going to try and catch with a giant fish net. I don't know, the PETA people may be coming after me because I think I'm going to make a box in the trifecta that includes both 5 in one and 6 in another of the boxes. Going to cost me $1.20, and that's going to be my investment. Hopefully, if I get lucky with verifying winning the race and maybe a couple of the other long shots I'm including in the picture, might have the try for $1.50, and that's capable of paying virtually anything. So that's what I'm going to do. I don't have any great certainty about the race or any real strong opinion, but you would have to include Forte and Tapit Trice probably among the horses to finish in the money.
Yeah, I have thoughts, but I'm going to
One
let
one of
them.
them will be there, I would think, and they could run one too. It's very possible.
It's a hard feat to do. I kind of like the third Pletcher horse, King's Barnes, despite the number 6 post. I like the way he runs, and again, one of my angles with Pletcher when he runs multiple horses, never leave out the higher priced of them, whether it's 2 horses or 3 horses. And King's Barnes will be the highest priced of the 3 Pletcher horses. The other one I like, don't forget Rocket Man, is Bill Mott's horse that won a couple of those early prep races at Gulfstream. And I think he's been kind of laying low and could run a big one. I don't know if he's going to win, but I could see him completing some of the exotics. That's number 18. And he's listed in the morning line at 30 to 1 with Junior Alvarado, Rocket Can. I'm sorry, not Rocket Man, but Rocket Can, number 18. And the other one I kind of like, Two Phils, the number 3 horse with Jarrett Loveberry. I like Two Phils. I like his foundation. I like the races he's run in the prep races. And again, could take to that Churchill Downs surface. And so I'm going to be kind of doing things with the Forte and trying to get some long shots underneath, like do 15s with the 3s and the 18s and the 5s and the 6s and the all button. And that's why we love the Derby, because you could, the Forte is listed as a 3 to 1 morning line favorite. I don't think anybody's going to get near that. You peg him at 8 to 5. I think he'll go off about 2 to 1. Which is, for a horse that could be a super horse, that is a, fair price, but we'll see what happens. They got to run the race. And as we've seen this year, whether it's horse racing or really any sport, anything has happened. So it's all going to be a very interesting affair. That's Saturday. The race is not going to be till 7 o'clock. We're going to be talking about it more all week long. I love my horses. I love the Derby. It's a great day of racing. We'll be at a Gulfstream on Friday, and that's Kentucky Oaks Day, and that's a big race in and of itself. So we'll talk about that and all the big races on tap at Churchill Downs during the Friday show out at Gulfstream. Meanwhile, look what happened to the hour. We're almost done, and I got to do one more break. We got to talk about our friends at Delaware Seafood and Chicken Farm. And again, we were out there last week. We're going to be out there at the end of the month, this month, and it's a great place to go to get whatever you need to, have yourself a great cookout or a great dinner at home this weekend. If you don't want to go out into the restaurant world on the Friday or Saturday night, go to Delaware at 4191 North State Road 7 and go in there and pick yourself up a nice piece of fish or some great shrimp, or get some of those. Now they have those, I guess, the blue crabs they could steam up for you. And they have Key West pink shrimp and clams and oysters and mussels. And of course, they have all that great looking meats, butcher shop, that Braveheart beef that we talked about and ate last week. And of course, they're also known for their full selection of poultry. The chickens is what made them famous in the first place. And they also have duck. They also have lamb and anything that you might want. They have grab and go stuff and the fish dip. You can't beat that stuff.
Dips are great. They really do a good job with the dips.
World renowned. Go in there, tell them that Lunchbox sent you. And again, go online, DelawareChicken.com, for the weekly specials and their daily catch. Freshest quality selection, service. Doug Carter and his crew do a great job at Delaware Seafood Market in Hollywood. Tell them that the Lunchbox sent you.
Really a terrific place, and couldn't be any sweeter. The people there, it's fantastic. I mean, you could go there just for the service. If they charged more money, it would still be worth it. Because, the way that they treat you. The roasted chicken is not to be forgotten either. People are stopping in and piling that into buckets and taking it in the car. All right, we're coming back to wrap up today's edition of Mike Mayo's Lunchbox in a moment.
Looking for a great place for steaks, seafood, and more? Go to Tropical Acres Steakhouse and Butcher Shop. It's at 2500 Griffin Road in Dania, just west of I-95 and the airport. They've been there a long time, since 1949. That means they're doing something right. You'll get old school hospitality from the Studiali family, along with great value, tremendous service. Of course, you could also go into the bar for happy hour every day, 4 to 6. The early bird special runs from 4:30 to 5:30, and they have great value all night long. Also, a butcher shop that's open every day from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. except Sunday. The dining room is open every day at 4:30 except Sunday. Go to Tropical Acres. Tell them the Lunchbox sent you. Hey, it's Mike Mayo. When the Brooklyn boy in me wants a good bagel with Nova or some matzo ball soup, homemade knishes, or a great deli pastrami sandwich on rye, you know where I go? Grandpa's Cafe in Dania Beach. It's been around a long time, an institution, but a little over a year ago, a pair of New Yorkers came in, bought it, and refurbished the place. It's beautiful, and they are now serving great breakfast, brunch, lunch. They've got the omelets, they've got eggs Benedict, they've got all kinds of great baked goods like rugelach. Grandpa's is just off Federal Highway on Southwest 1st Street in Dania Beach. It's open 7 days. Go in there, tell them that the Lunchbox sent you. When I'm looking for some wicked good food for a wicked good lunch, there's only one place to go. That's Wicked Cheesesteaks in Fort Lauderdale. It's at 4824 North Federal Highway, just south of Commercial Boulevard and across from Holy Cross Hospital. My friend Brian there, he will hook you up with some really tasty treats. They've got cheesesteaks, just like the best you can find in Philly, along with lobster rolls, because that's where he's from, Maine originally, and they have wings and pizza and everything you want to have a really good time. Wicked Cheesesteaks, they're open every day but Tuesday. Go in there on a Wednesday. They got buy one, get one on cheesesteaks from 5 to 8 p.m. Check them out online, wickedcheesesteaks.com. Tell them the Lunchbox sent you.
We're back on the Lunchbox. I couldn't resist. I'm going in for round 2 on the Thanksgiving po' boy that Tom T made. And my only suggestion, the one thing I would add to this, and I know it's not for everybody, but maybe Tom can have it as an option. Sliced jalapenos on here would be absolutely terrific. That would be the bomb. Great stuff. Before we go today, I did want to clear up one thing. Again, Let's Eat has had all kinds of wild activity, a lot of things that were kind of, I don't want to say bashing, but they were bashing Runway 84. And I'm a big fan of the place. If I was the critic at the Sun Sentinel, I would give the reboot 4 stars, top rating. I think they're doing an excellent job in there. And it's not for everybody. And Mark Falsetto, who has been chiming in on the group in those threads, which I think owners have a right to do. And you might not like what he has to say. You might find it brash or arrogant. I like it. I like when owners stand up and defend themselves. And he just merely pointed out that we're not for everybody, and that's okay. We're not trying to be all things to everybody. But there was a post that was kind of and this has become a recurring thing, and it drives me nuts. But somebody went there and they were upset because the tab at the end, they noticed that they were charged for olives or olive juice in their martini, $5 extra, and they were charged whatever extra for the rocks. And again, I gotta clarify this: you're not being charged for the olive juice. They do charge for a martini, and if you just go in there and get a regular vodka drink, that's one price. But if you order a martini straight up, it's a bigger pour, so that's why they charge $5 extra for the martinis. Okay, it's not for the olives, it's not for the olive juice. That comes complimentary with your martini. That $5 extra surcharge is for a martini pour, which is, I don't know if it's 3 ounces or 4 ounces. Then the rocks charge, it's not for putting ice in your drink, and it's not for ordering a vodka on the rocks. It's because when you order like a drink on the rocks, you get a bigger pour.
Alcohol, yeah.
And I think Mustang even chimed in on that thread and explained this to people, which people just don't understand. When you order, let's say, a Jack and Coke, it's usually a 1 ounce pour. When you order Jack on the rocks, it's 1.5 ounces. So you're paying for the extra alcohol. Okay. And this is one of the areas where I think restaurants kind of sometimes fail in the communications department, because however they, I would hope when they have these receipt systems, they call it POS systems. It doesn't stand for it stands for the point of operating systems or something like that. And instead of saying rocks charge, it should just say like rocks pour. It should use the words pour charge. And they should use, martini pour charge. That would clearly give people a better sense that they're not paying for the ice, they're not paying for the olives, but they're actually paying for the additional alcohol that comes in those heftier drinks, which I've been consuming by the boatload lately. And I'll probably keep doing that tonight because I'm going to be rooting on the local teams at Shenanigans. And then we'll be at Grandpa's tomorrow. And Thursday, I'm excited because we're going to be at Wicked Cheesesteaks. And did you see what Brian did?
Yeah, he made you a shirt.
He made me a shirt. The king of the named sandwiches there at Wicked Cheesesteaks, the Mike Mayo sandwich, which includes no mayonnaise, but does have roasted pork, broccoli rabe, and provolone cheese. And the Defo, we'll see if he comes up with a Defo sandwich shirt. Man, that's a nice little sandwich. It's
I
basically
like this sandwich.
a cheesesteak with grilled onions on a Kaiser roll. A neater little package. Than that.
Yeah, I like it. I like the sandwich. Your sandwich is good too, but again, it's like a big sandwich. I like
Yes.
the Defo.
And POS means point of sale. Sorry, Blanche means I should know that off the top of my head. All right, Defo, do you have anything else to add, or you've got races to bet, places to be?
No, beautiful day. Gonna get outside here, do a little walk of life.
Nice.
Coming back, and try and enjoy a little beach time later on.
All good. How is your? I didn't ask you about your medical update. Is your wrist okay? Is that
It healed up, believe it or not.
Really?
Yeah. Just before I was about to go take the cortisone shot, all of a sudden, it was back to 100%. So
no
that was good.
injections needed? That's great. So that
I took some stuff. I think might have helped it a little bit with the inflammation, but I haven't tried it out again though on the tennis courts. So that's still to come.
Rest a little bit more, and I say to the Heat, rest Jimmy Butler tonight. But
I think it's fine.
Lubie sees blood in the water. He wants him to play. He wants to get that 2-0 lead. We'll see what happens. This is why we watch the games. And thank you everybody for tuning in for another edition of the Lunchbox. For Jeff Defo DeForest, Mike Lubie Lubitz, Mike Stuff Your Face Mayo, saying enjoy every Thanksgiving po' boy and sandwich.